only you could actually see around my room right now. There's literally suitcases and stuff everywhere. Currently in the process of packing to leave uni, and there's all other stuff. Hiya! Welcome back to my channel and welcome to another video. Today is actually my last video I'll ever be filming in this room. Not ever be filming, but just in this room. As I do move out, well, the day that you're watching this, I will actually be going back on a flight to my home in Marbella in Spain. So I will no longer actually be living in this room by the time this video goes up. It's so weird. I move out Saturday morning, which will be the day before when you're watching this video, and it's so weird to think that. And yeah, this year, like this second half of the year has gone by so quickly, and I can't believe I'm moving out of here already, which does mean packing is kind of stressful. I am vlogging my whole moving out process, my last weekend here, and I will be posting that. I'm not 100% sure yet when, but on my vlogging channel at some point over the next few days or just after this weekend, that'll be up there, so check out my vlogging channel down below. It'll probably either be a 2-part vlog or one long one depending on how much footage I get, but yeah, head over there, check that out if you want to see my moving out process. And I have had a lot of requests asking me to do a sort of video rounding up my first year uni experience, what I found it like, all different kind of aspects of it, from social life to the actual work that you have to do to free time, all of that good stuff. So I thought I would do a little roundup video. I have also got an announcement that I'm going to make which is related to uni, and I was just going to do a full-on announcement video at first, and then because I had a lot of requests for this one, I thought I would tie the two together. So stick around to the end if you want to hear what my announcement is. But yeah, I thought I would just do a general video touching on a bit of everything today and give you sort of insight into what it's like being at uni, my first year uni experience. I'm just going to grab my phone as I have made some notes on this, as there's quite a few different things I want to touch on. I'm going to kind of break it down into categories. I feel like that's the easiest way to go about it. First thing I am going to touch on is social life. I have got asked a lot about sort of meeting people and going out as well, that kind of thing. First of all, of course, when you get to uni, there is Freshers Week, and I would definitely say make the most of that, make that a really good opportunity to meet people in that time. There's a lot of activities on, whether that is going on nights out, or if you're not a big drinker or don't particularly like going out, then there's other events during the day as well. There was even like breakfast and brunch things organised, or like a tour around Brighton area, so you got to know that. There's literally so many different things. There's definitely something for everyone and anyone, and that is a great chance to get to meet people, as that's when everyone's in the same boat as you. Everyone's going to be feeling the same, so if you literally talk to anyone there, they're going to be feeling relieved as well, because you know how you would feel if someone came up and approached you and was quite friendly and you completely don't know anyone around you. If you think about how you would feel, then it can be pretty much guaranteed that the other person that you're talking to will feel the same. So that is a great chance to meet people, but also don't panic if you feel like you haven't found anyone you're particularly close with in that time, because over the year there's so many other opportunities to meet people, and during that week you may not meet everyone, and even I can imagine over the next few years of uni, you'll still end up meeting other people who you didn't meet in your first year and become really good friends with. So that's definitely a good starting point though, and for making you feel like you know some people initially starting, even if you don't get particularly close to them or end up being really good friends with them for the rest of the uni year. It's definitely a good chance to get to know some people so that you can kind of take your mind off being away from home and being in a new situation. Then of course, besides actually meeting people at uni events and stuff, there is your halls of residence or your flats or house, wherever you're living, whatever kind of accommodation you've got. That's another great opportunity to meet people, and you've got either your flatmates as well, or there's also the people around in the other flats or houses as well. So even if you don't fully get particularly close to people in your flat, for example, like it was kind of like that a bit more in my flat. We never really particularly did loads of things together or anything. Like we got along fine and everything, there was no sort of conflict or anything like that, but we weren't that particularly close either. And so I particularly got closer to people who were either living in other flats around in my block, or from meeting people in other ways as well. So even if you don't particularly gel with your own flatmates, if you do, then that's amazing. If you don't, don't panic about it. There'll be other opportunities to meet other people too. And then of course there is your course as well. So that's another great way to meet more people. On my course I sort of had the people who I would sit with in lectures, and not all of them were from my accommodation or that I'd met through any other kind of event either. So that's another chance to get to meet people. I feel like you sort of have your course mates, your flatmates, any kind of events or things that you've been to, and just other friends who you might have around as well. There really definitely are plenty of opportunities to meet people. I'm just intrigued by there's suddenly so many people walking past my window. There's actually like a whole line of people. I wonder if there's something going on. Anyway, that's like completely irrelevant. But what was I even saying? I don't even know now. I've lost my train of thought. But yeah, anyway, there's definitely plenty of opportunities to meet people and sort of make yourself feel comfortable at first. Oh yeah, another thing I was going to mention, another way to get involved with events and get out and do things as well is of course the uni's societies. Each uni has so many societies, there's so many different random ones as well. There's honestly so many opportunities to take up something new or get involved with something completely different and that you've never done before. Again, that's a great chance to meet people, get involved with events, and you can even join a sports team if that's your thing, or particularly for me, I enjoy doing a lot of classes at the gym, and then that's a great way to get to meet other people who have similar interests to you as well and really find people who you can really have sort of that connection with in terms of being interested in the same things and always having something to do together because you're always wanting to do the same kind of activity. Then during the uni year there's definitely a lot of chances to go out if that's your thing. Often bars will put on student nights or in clubs as well, and there'll be good discounts, and a lot of people will go out weekly or even a few times a week, particularly towards the start of the year. A lot of people go out a lot. Me myself, I'm not someone who goes out that much. I like to go out maybe every now and again. I'm not much of a drinker, so for me that thing isn't really like my main sort of preference of like meeting people and doing stuff. But definitely if that is for you, then there is a lot of chance to go out and have a lot of great nights out as well. So if that's something that you're really wanting to do, then definitely plenty of opportunity for that. And then also on campus as well, you've got loads of bars, so they're great social places to meet up with people for a drink or just to even get some food. There's lots of cafes as well. So if you're on a campus uni, I feel like that's really great, particularly in first year, because usually your accommodation's on campus and then you'll have loads of little cafes and bars and things on campus too, which are great places to go and meet up with people, and it's kind of like your own little village. So it's like settling into your own little village in a way, away from home, the first time you're living away from home with all people who are in the same situation as well. So it creates quite a nice atmosphere in a way. Then of course, besides the campus itself, it's been amazing getting to know Brighton, exploring the town, and that's another great thing you can do with people and just get out and see the area. And of course probably for them as well, unless they happen to be based where the uni is, but a lot of people won't be, it's a great chance just to really get out and explore and discover new places together too. So then in terms of accommodation, mine is more of a flat style accommodation. So mine, there's 6 of us and we each have our own rooms, and then there is a kitchen which we share / like living room area, so like a sofa, coffee table area, and then dining room table and the actual kitchen area of course. And I've quite liked that. With being particularly into food and cooking and everything, I like having kind of more of a flat style accommodation, which makes it already feel a bit more homely in that I know in particular of the London ones you have massive corridors of halls of residence where it's just loads of rooms and then a massive communal kitchen. For me personally, I don't think I would have liked that, and I very much prefer this style of living, and it does, yeah, definitely make it feel more homely and like it's your own little place and flat in a way that you own. That's what I feel like. It makes it more personal, and moving out is kind of sad because it's like you're moving away from your own kind of first property in a way that you've been in. But yeah, I've definitely preferred that, but some people may prefer having a lot of people along a corridor. I guess that way as well, it's a good opportunity to meet loads of people. But yeah, like I said, for me personally, I definitely have found that this sort of flat style accommodation with not too many people has been like ideal for me. And yeah, I was definitely very lucky enough to get into the new accommodation. It's just been built, it only just opened. They're in fact still building part of it as well, and so I was very lucky. I very much appreciate the accommodation that I've got. It's definitely a lot nicer than some of your standard uni accommodation. But of course, when you're applying for accommodation, you get to choose either where the location of the accommodation is and what building you're in, or the style of room you get, so like a single bedroom, a double bedroom, ensuite, whatever it may be. So it depends on the uni that you're going to, as different places do it slightly differently. But here luckily I could choose what buildings I put, and you normally put it in terms of preferences. I was lucky to get my first choice, and I have loved living here as well. The new building that I'm in is in like a great central location on campus. Everything's within like a 5-10 minute walk away, which makes it ideal for going to lectures. You literally have to leave like 10 minutes before it, and yeah, it's just great having everything so close by. But of course, if you do actually get to uni and then realise that you don't particularly like your accommodation, or you just really don't get along with the people who you're living with, or it's a bit confrontational, or there's like friction or something, or you've just got to the accommodation and it's not really what you were expecting it to be like, then definitely there are plenty of opportunities to change up accommodation. If you realise this sort of straight away after moving in and you don't really like where you are, then I'd suggest doing that as early as possible, because particularly towards the start of the year they give you sort of a 2-week, I think it was 2 or 3 weeks kind of notice to make up your mind if you want to change or not. And then they put you into an accommodation swap thing, and if someone has also put up that they want to move into where you are, and then you've put you want to move to where they are, then they can do a swap for you, and it will sort of work like that. There's still opportunities though throughout the year to do that if something arises later, or just problems in your accommodation, or just something happens and makes you want to change later in the year. Opportunities do still come up throughout. Definitely there's more available towards the start of the year, as that's when other people are looking to swap as well. Although if, for example, people might drop out of their course or decide to move elsewhere at some point throughout the year, then there are other opportunities to do so. I know someone who moved fairly recently within this term to somewhere new as well, so it can still be done later on in the year. But if you do realise quite early on, then I'd suggest getting in there as soon as possible with that. Moving on to actually like the work side of stuff, as I feel like I can't go without mentioning that, because that's kind of, I mean, technically why you come to uni is to study and further your education. So I am just going to say at first, if you have any coursework or deadlines, don't leave it till the last minute. I'm generally quite good, I've always been quite good at planning. I'm someone who loves to plan and sort of know what I'm doing. I hate sort of being last minute or having to rush something and not feeling like I've done it as fully and properly as I could have done it. So I would normally sort of look into what deadlines I've got coming up and what the actual work is, how long it's likely to take me, and plan around that. And then as soon as they start mentioning it in lectures or whatever, it may be wherever you might have lectures, seminars, labs, there's a whole mixture of different kind of things you can have. And if wherever they start mentioning it, or you start picking up on tips and how to do it, then definitely make a start on it, because there's nothing worse than getting to like 24, 48 hours before the deadline and having literally done nothing. I can promise you, even though at the time you may not want to, at some point you're going to have to do the work anyway, so you might as well do it earlier on, and that way it's so much less stressful because you're not in a rush to get it done and you're not panicking about not getting it done on time. So I would highly recommend not leaving things to the last minute. In terms of course structure, as I mentioned, it varies between course. With more science ones, you will, I mean, I feel like most courses, or all courses in fact, will have lectures. Then you may also have seminars, which are taught more in sort of class size groups, so a bit more like a school class in a way, where either you might have readings or some kind of thing that you've had to look into or research, and then you have to discuss it with everyone there. And then there's also, I had lab sessions, which I think are more particular to sort of science courses, and this is, first I thought it was going to be like a laboratory session, like a scientific lab session, but it's actually computer-based work. So for me, it was mainly doing statistics. I had a statistics module, and then also for like experiments and stuff and analysing the data for that, or running the experiment and putting data together, that kind of thing. So definitely for more the sciences ones, you're likely to have labs. And then what other things have I had? I feel like, oh, and workshops I've had as well, which again are kind of similar to seminars in a way. They're taught in a similar size, class size kind of group again. I feel like seminars were slightly smaller. I think in seminars you can have up to around 20 people. I felt like in my workshop maybe there was a little bit more than that. But you basically, it's a similar kind of setup to a seminar, but you're just having multiple kind of activities which just help you sort of consolidate your knowledge of the things that you've previously learned in lectures or through the readings that you've had to do. And they're the things that I had. There might be other things that you can have as well that I just didn't happen to have during my first year, but that's kind of how it mainly worked for me. And I think it's quite nice having a bit of a mix of everything going on, so then it doesn't just become the same thing. Again, also seminars and workshops, they provide opportunities to meet people and talk to other people as well, whereas lectures, it's very much you see people at the start, then you're in the lecture and you don't particularly talk to people then, and then you leave the lecture, so you see them again for a few minutes then. So you don't have really much of a chance to get to know people as well in the actual lectures. So yeah, definitely seminars and workshops were another great opportunity for that. Oh yeah, another thing I did just want to point out as well, in your first year, generally it's not too intense. I feel like my timetable, you don't have that many hours a day, but then during your free time it is good to make use of that and work on coursework and get work done, but you definitely have plenty of time for engaging in plenty of social activities, as well as also having time to do work too. So you can really sort of find a good balance between the two. And also a lot of unis will either have it that the first year you just need to pass and it doesn't actually count towards your degree, or you may need to pass and it will count towards your degree, but it will only generally be like 10% or something, so not that high in terms of the overall degree, and your second and third years are more heavily weighted. So it's quite good in a way because you can use the first year as a kind of test year in terms of how you like to get your notes done, how you like to get your work done, what they kind of expect from you, and you can just trial out different things. So definitely use it as an opportunity for trial and error, see what works, see what doesn't work, and it's really just a good year to figure it out before then you get into the second and third year, where either it's first of all counting if you haven't had to count your first year, or it's definitely counting a lot more than your first year. Obviously if your first year does count, even if it's just a little bit, probably a good opportunity to just really help boost your grades up, because first year out of the three I can imagine will definitely be the easiest, so it is a good chance to really sort of focus on your work and do it at like a decent standard at least. I was just then going to quickly touch on some of my general likes and dislikes sort of things, or things that I found difficult while I have come to uni and what I've experienced in my first year. I think I'll start with things that I found more difficult. Starting with, of course, you're usually moving to a new place. For me, that was a new country as well. I mean, I have family in the UK, I am English, but I've never actually lived in England myself, so even though I've visited here a lot, at least I had some familiarity with the UK and I do know it quite well, but I'd never lived in Brighton before, and I had visited it a couple of times, but I didn't know the area that well either. So it is definitely kind of a scary experience in terms of everything is so new. It's a new place, new accommodation, new people, and definitely in the first term, homesickness is going to pop up at some point. I did find this very much at first, and then as the term progressed it got less and less, and then occasionally you just randomly got homesick on the randomest of occasions, and then towards the end of the term it was sort of fine again, and then I had the Christmas holidays, and then this term I don't think I've generally experienced it, to be fair. I think just kept quite busy and also just gotten used to where I'm living, and it does feel more like a second home now in a way. So I feel like it just more affects you in that first term before Christmas, but since then I have definitely felt a lot more settled here and like I know it more, and because I've got to know the area more as well, then it definitely does help with that. But at first I think the best thing to do if you are feeling homesick, obviously contact family if you feel like you need to, and whenever you feel like you want to talk to them, but then also at the same time keep really busy and just meeting up with other people or just getting out and doing things, because if you just sit, especially in Freshers Week where there's loads of events going on, but if you don't make the most of that, then you're just going to be sat in your room because you'll feel like you won't really know anyone yet, you don't have anyone to meet up with, and that's when your mind drifts onto it. So keeping busy in a way, it helps take your mind off of it, and that way you won't feel it so much. And then some of the things that I have sort of liked more about it is actually the opportunity to be somewhere new though as well has definitely had its perks. I've loved getting to know Brighton, exploring a new area, the chance to meet new people as well, and just completely move away from your sort of settled home environment. I went to the same school until I was 16, and then I was at a different school in sixth form, and I'd always lived in the same place. I moved into the house that I still live in now when I was 2, so to me I've basically always lived there, and you just kind of get set in your ways a bit. But definitely moving to a new place, being surrounded by new people, it's an eye-opening experience and a real opportunity to sort of figure out who you are as a person and just really sort of establish your own independence, which I have quite enjoyed, just having that time away. Even though at first it seems hard and you're not used to it, I think it's definitely a great experience to have, and I can definitely highly recommend it. I feel like by the time you get to uni, you're kind of reaching that age where you want a bit more independence and a bit more freedom, and you just need to sort of start figuring out what you're going to do and how to deal with life. And honestly, university is a great opportunity for that, because you're in this environment with everyone else trying to do the same, and you've still got something going on because you're in an educational system, but then it is a good chance for you to learn some personal skills as well, such as whether that is cooking for you or just learning how to live by yourself, doing all the practicalities like laundry washing, your food shop. Honestly, you don't realise like how many sort of extra things there are to do. Then you sort of thank your parents more for doing that your whole life because you never even thought about it. As for you, you'd always just get home, there'd be food on the table, or your laundry would just always magically reappear nice and clean, hung up in your wardrobe. But then you get to uni and you realise how many little extra things, or even just emptying your bins on a weekly basis, for example, so that it doesn't get smelly or whatever. Like, there's just so many little extra things. I feel like now I've got to the point where I don't kind of get overwhelmed by that or think about that really, because I've just got into a routine of doing it. But at first I definitely was like, oh wow, there's a lot more to think about than you kind of realise. But then again, it has been really good, and like I said, it's a great chance to sort of grow in your own independence and get to learn those kind of skills which you don't really engage in when you're at home. So definitely think it's an amazing opportunity for just gaining your own independence and for learning to live by yourself. Okay, so that was my sort of very long roundup of my first year. If you do have any more questions or anything that I've not touched upon and you'd like to know about, definitely leave a comment down below. Either if there's quite a few things that people want to know, then maybe I'll make it into a little Q&A. If not though, then I will just get back to you in the comments. Definitely let me know, or you can tweet me or DM me on Instagram or whatever it may be, if there's something more personal maybe that you want to ask about. So yeah, just let me know anything that I haven't touched up on, or if I did, anything that you'd like me to expand on a bit more as well, and I'll be sure to get back to you. But now for my, well, little-ish kind of announcement. I kind of hinted at something related to this in one of my recent videos. It might have been in my last video or the one before that, but basically I have decided that I am going to be changing uni course, and unfortunately they don't offer it at Sussex Uni, which is where I was currently studying psychology, and it does therefore mean that I will be having to move uni. I would love to stay around here. I've got to know the area so well, and I honestly love Brighton. If you're considering studying at either Brighton or Sussex Uni, obviously my experience is at Sussex Uni. I've loved it here and I think it's a great university, so definitely go for it and apply here if you are thinking of doing it and you think campus uni style kind of life will be for you. Definitely have loved it here, and Brighton's such an amazing area to be. It's buzzing for young people. There's so many opportunities and things going on for young people and events and stuff all the time. But I did decide that I wanted to change course. There wasn't particularly anything against psychology itself. I hadn't actually studied it before, and I kind of ended up applying for psychology because you get to the end of sort of sixth form, you're pressured into thinking you have to then go to uni, study a course, and I had no idea what I wanted to do. I knew what I didn't want to do, and so when I went through all the kind of courses, I was ruling out everything that I definitely didn't want to do, and psychology was the first kind of thing that flagged up, and I was like, that could actually potentially be interesting. Maybe that is something I could do. And it was the only thing that at that time really appealed to me, or that I'd come across at that time that really appealed to me. So I was like, you know what, I will apply. Then of course, if you've been watching me for a while, I then decided to defer my place for a year because I wasn't sure about going to uni just overall, and if psychology was definitely what I wanted to do. So then I did take a gap year. During that year, nothing kind of flagged up in terms of other work that I was going to particularly get interested in or invested in, or any other opportunities of different courses at uni, or just nothing really came up in that year of what else I might want to do. So I thought, you know what, I will go to uni anyway. I'll do psychology. I might find it really interesting, I might hate it. Overall, there's been bits that I found super interesting, but I just can't see where I would go with it in the long term and what I would eventually do with it. So then towards the end of summer, it was literally like a week or two probably before I was moving to uni, it suddenly hit me as I really got into health, fitness, all that kind of stuff, nutrition in my year off, that something that would really interest me and be my kind of area would be studying nutrition. I then looked at Sussex Uni. They didn't offer it here, so I was then in a bit of a dilemma. They didn't offer it at Brighton Uni. And in my head, I'd already kind of set my head on the fact that I was moving to Brighton. I'd come to terms with that. And there was just nowhere around here. If not, I would have just transitioned course straight away and then stayed at Sussex Uni. But as they didn't offer it here, and it was a few weeks before I was supposed to be going to uni, I thought, you know what, let's go, give psychology a go. It'll be an experience in itself, and I'm definitely so happy I did that anyway. I have gained extra knowledge through doing psychology and also grown an area of something that's definitely had a lot of interesting information thrown at me too, and I've got to meet some really lovely people being at uni, and like I said, just the whole experience of being at uni, gaining your own independence, I think that's been such a great experience for me, and I definitely don't regret at all choosing to come here and not waiting another year to start somewhere else. I think it's been amazing for me to come here and just get involved in uni life and start my own kind of life away from home as well. So I definitely don't regret any of my uni experience here, but I will be changing uni next year. I'm going to be going to Surrey University, which was one of my original choices. I was debating between Surrey and Sussex, and if I had chosen that originally, then I would have just been able to transition course straight away. But it does mean that I have had a year living in Brighton, which I can see myself coming back here one day. It's one of those places I feel really comfortable and just think everyone's so friendly and it's just such a lovely area. I could see myself moving back here eventually one day. So I'm definitely happy in a way that I did end up sticking with Sussex and not going to Surrey initially, because it's been great getting to know Brighton. But I will now be transferring over there to study nutrition, as that is more an area that I can actually see myself doing something with, and if you know me well, then you'll know that's where I'm fully sort of interested and invested in. And yeah, like I'm definitely excited to start that course. I'm going to be doing a 4-year course with a year in work in my 3rd year. I thought that for nutrition, as it's quite specific, it's quite good to get some kind of work in the 3rd year, as I do have quite a clear idea with where I want to go with it, so then I can definitely get work experience in that area in the 3rd year and see if that's exactly what I want to do. But yeah, so that is my little, not so little announcement. So even though I'm technically moving out of this accommodation, I'm actually fully moving away from Brighton, which is making it even more strange because I'm not returning here next year, which just seems so weird to me, and that's what makes the whole moving out process seem even more like daunting and unreal in a way. But yeah, that will be happening, and I mean, everyone who I've kind of said that to so far, their first reaction has been, I can see you doing that, which in a way tells me it's the right choice. And at least with that, when there's bits of the course that I don't particularly like, or if I'm finding work particularly hard, then at least I know it will be to get me where I want to go eventually in the end. So yeah, not only will I not ever be filming in this room again, I won't ever be filming any more main channels in, well, possibly in the future at some point, but for the next few years I won't be filming any more main channel videos, at least in Brighton, which is crazy to think. But like I said, I'm definitely gonna come back here. I want to visit people who I've met here, and I definitely want to come back around Brighton and maybe even potentially live here one day. So that is my uni related announcement, and yeah, it does seem a bit surreal at the moment, but I'm sure Surrey will be amazing. I did visit the town originally and it does look like a lovely area too, so it'll probably hit more when I start moving all my stuff over there in September. But we'll let that come when it comes. I'm going to round up this video now because it's literally been the longest video, but I hope you've got something useful out of this. If you are starting uni next year, then good luck, although I'm sure you won't need it because I'm sure you will have an amazing experience. Like I said, if you have any extra questions or things that you just want to know about, leave a comment down below and I'll be sure to get back to you. Also be sure to smash a big thumbs up on this video if you have enjoyed it, as well as clicking on that little red subscribe button down below if you're new to my channel. And also there is that notifications bell that you can tap onto so that you're notified whenever I upload, which currently is every Wednesday and Sunday. But with summer coming up and probably having a lot more free time, I might throw out a few extra bonus videos here and there. Who knows what's gonna happen. So definitely have my notifications on so that you know when any kind of extra videos might go up. And I will be sure to see you very soon with another video. Bye!